Florida, a playground for all people of all nations. Riding the monorail around the grounds, and today it is the playground for the world's greatest athletes when it comes to skateboarding. At Disney's Wide World of Sports, it's World Cup skateboarding. In the street competition, Andy McDonald, a name to look out for, 6th place in Rhode Island at the 1996 X Games, but where he stood tall was high atop the vert ramp, beating out his idol of years, Tony Hawk, in a sport he loves because of his ability to express himself.
I know for myself, that was the first thing that attracted me to skateboarding, is that there were no rules, there were no coaches, there was nobody there telling you what you had to do and how you had to do it.
Another name to watch, Brian Patch. 1996, a good year for this young man. 3rd in the street at the X Games in Newport, Rhode Island. But just a few months later, he wins the crossover event at the Winter X in California. And he likes these new challenges.
It's not really something that I think about, but we call it being an ATV, all-terrain vehicle, and just do what you can do. And that's, to me, that's a true professional, and that's what skateboarding is about. If you don't do one section of it, then you're missing that part of skateboarding, and that's what we all love, so do everything.
Brian Patch won't be able to ride a snowboard inside here. We're in the field house for World Cup skateboarding at Walt Disney World just outside Orlando. And Brian's going to have the honor of going first. Brian's parents in the stands, always giving their support to this young man.
Brian is a very consistent skateboarder that likes to hit all the different obstacles on this course. And he starts off with a big frontside air from one transfer ramp to the next.
This course in Orlando, a little tighter than Providence. Sub box in the middle, you see the pyramid just off to the left. It gives him a quicker opportunity and keep more speed going into each and every trick.
I like the way this course is set up. The only thing about it is the floor is a little soft, so it is a little slow. These guys have to make up for it in their transitions.
Patch taking a moment on the backside, right back into action. Sometimes you'll see guys trying to catch their breath, waiting up to 10, 15 seconds at times. The grind down the rail.
Really smooth and quick Smith grind that he just pulled off there.
Now taking a lot of time to get back up.
How about some nervous parents there? Big 50-50 down the rail.
That was great.
And he pulls it off, and then he rides out a manual. So Brian with a couple of big tricks in this run.
Not only big tricks, but making good use of the entire course, and a kickflip will bring it to an end.
A great run for Brian. Take a look at this ollie. Look where he lands really high on that vert wall. And then the 50-50 down the handrail, really smooth.
Brian Patch sets the mark for the rest of the field, 86.0, and we're underway at Disney World. World Cup skateboarding competitors all focused on the 97 X Games in San Diego, California. That's exactly why we're here at Disney's Wide World of Sports in Orlando, Florida. Now for the X Games, 48 competitors in all. There'll be 24 in the street and 24 in the vert. But here in Orlando, the precious 4 remaining open spots, 2 in street, 2 in vert. That's brought out a number of names we haven't seen in a long time, and a number of names we've never even seen before. Names like Kane Gale, living in San Diego, the X will be in his backyard. And Tim Brosh from San Jose has been competing 5 years. Jeff Raleigh from England. Also, Chad Bott. He's going for an invite. He lives in Huntington Beach, California. And as we continue the street final competition, round 1, this man as well going for the invitation to the 97 X Games, Pat Chinita.
Watching Pat in warm-ups, he has a lot of variety to his routine, and he starts it off with a kickflip over the rail. Right at the gate, he nails a big kickflip. Got the judge's attention in a hurry.
Over the pyramid, 180.
Totally different style than Brian Patch. Pat moves a little slower from ramp to ramp, but he's more technical with his tricks.
Seems to be following along the same line that Brian Patch did earlier, the ollie and the rail early in the round.
Some of these guys practice together, and every now and then you'll see one guy do one trick and say, oh, okay, I like the way he's going with that. So they try it. Look at that nose slide up on the rail. So he's used the rail a couple different times now.
Again, we mentioned the course is a little different, a little shorter this time. You'll only see 1 or 2 kicks to get a little speed on the floor, and then they're already at a ramp or a sub box or a pyramid.
Doug, that makes for more of a bang-bang run. A backside 180 kickflip, and that just goes to show you that this guy has what it takes. Doug, Pat demonstrated that he is a master at kickflips. He starts off his run with a kickflip over the rail, and then here, a 180 backside kickflip coming down fakie.
Pat Shanita in his first ever televised event. That's cool, 86.33. There's 10 competitors in all. They'll each get 2 runs on the street course, 60 seconds apiece. Scoring based on the 100-point scale, and you take the best run, and that's the final score.
Skateboard Street, explain. It's a contest of man versus course, as skaters attack a layout of launch boxes, pyramids, and quarter pipes. Diversity is key, as the best routines will display grinds down the railings, ollies over the obstacles, and varials. Those are board spins. The judges' overall impression will determine the score, so it will take a smooth style, an aggressive attitude, and few or no stumbles to take home the prize.
Now remember, here in Orlando, we only have 2 spots open for invitations to the 97 X Games. Chad Vaught, one of the riders who are trying to grab one of those coveted spots in the street competition.
Chad is a true street skater out of Huntington Beach, California. Starts off with a big air. A master at kickflips is Chad, and that's the definition of what street skating is all about. That was a switch kickflip.
60 seconds on the course. Another kickflip. Judge is going to be looking for creativity, style, and for difficulty as well.
Doug, the judges have a difficult decision to make because Chad is a true street skater, like I said. Unlike Andy McDonald, unlike Brian Pack, those guys go bigger, so they really have to kind of curtail their judging to the skater that they are currently looking at, and sometimes that is difficult to do.
Hey, let's be honest, when the vert riders get on the street course, we see a lot of big air and a lot of applause from the crowd a lot of time. That's got to influence it.
It's impressive, but the little things make all the difference in the world, and with a street skater like Chad doing so many kickflips, that was impressive.
Chad Vaught goes down on the bum, and time runs out.
The judges like to see originality here, a switch kickflip, but watch this trick, an ollie up on the sub-box with a 1 foot frozen right there. He bounces right back off like a shock absorber and comes down fakie.
Chad Vaught, 84.0 for his first attempt here in Walt Disney's Wide World of Sports. Andy McDonald wheeling over for a little different point of view. You'll have the best seat in the house, though, when we come back.
The X Trials from Walt Disney World is brought to you by Nike, by Taco Bell. Craving a little more taste? Crunch into the irresistible taste of a Taco Bell taco. And by Mountain Dew, who reminds you to do the do.
Disney's Wide World of Sports inside the field house just outside of Orlando, Florida. Street competition rolls on. In a moment, you'll see Andy McDonald, but his personal playground, the vert ramp. Providence, Rhode Island, a first place in 1997. But the challenge is going to be greater here in Orlando. All the vert riders dealing with a smaller ramp.
Doug, one quality of any true professional skateboarder is his ability to adapt to new conditions. Well, thus is the case right here in this vert ramp. This ramp is a bit smaller than normal ramps, and it does have some kinks to it. Now, a normal vert ramp is 32 feet wide with 16 feet of flat and 1 foot 9 inches of vert. Well, this ramp is a bit smaller. It's only 30 feet wide with 14 feet of flat and 1 foot 6 inches of vert. So what, you say? Well, it's similar to Evel Knievel jumping 20 cars on a motorcycle. If his return ramp is too small, he has to adjust in midair. The same is true for a skateboarder. He has to adjust in midair. And the best skateboarder that will adjust to conditions like this will ultimately win the contest.
We'll see the vert competition in just a few minutes, but now back to street competition, round one, and Andy McDonald, one of those vert riders who's going to bring the big air style to the street course, Paul.
Right away, we'll see that big air because he normally does a backside 360, and he just did it. And that's a big difference than what Chad Vaught did in his first hit. Andy McDonald is a very smooth and fast skateboarder, and over the last year and a half, Doug, he has really increased the height that he gets on ramps.
Riding the nose of the board across the sub box. Now we're seeing some of the street skills.
When he flat bottoms out like that, Doug, he loses all kinds of speed, especially on this floor.
See the clock running down. 2 runs, 60 seconds apiece. This is Andy's first run, and little difficulty making that adjustment to the street course.
Just like on the vert ramp a little later, Doug, we'll see here on the street course that these guys have to adapt to the conditions at hand. And that is, this street course is a little bit different than we've seen before because they have the ramp set up different. Lots of speed here, a big 180 varial, leaving something for the judges to think about. 2 very routine tricks for Andy McDonald. There, a frontside air over the gap, and here a 180 varial in which the board spins 180 degrees. But why did he miss the kickflip?
I jinxed myself. In practice, I was making it all the time, and Kane had missed like a couple of his. He does it the opposite way, and I was like, all right, Kane, I'll show you how to do it, and I did it and made it. And I came back, and of course, during the when it counts, I can't make it, so. Just jinx myself, whatever.
Also in round one competition, Jeff Raleigh was favored to come up with a pretty good spot in the next game's invite, but then injury.
Yeah, he jammed his right ankle on that trick over the rail, trying to continue to skate, but it just wasn't there. You can see him limping around. Wasn't Jeff's day today.
Kind of a tough day as well for Tim Brosh.
Tim got off to a good start, though. He came with a big trick over the rail here, a backside air, and then he missed on the 50-50 up on this rail. Quite creative coming up here on the 50-50, not enough speed.
A lot of pressure on these guys going for the X Games invites.
A little pressure. This is the first time I've been to one of these, and I'm not really used to all the cameras and stuff like that, so there's a little pressure of that.
Next rider we're looking forward to seeing, Kane Gale. He's already qualified for the X Games in San Diego. So the big question is, does he still ride hard or does he back off a little bit so that he can save himself physically for the games?
Watching this guy in practice, I noticed that he comes with lots of variety and lots of difficult tricks. And he really is a master of the kickflip, coming off a second place in Vancouver at the Slam City Jam.
So we'll see great street skills, making his way all the way to the other end of the floor.
Nice tail slide on the quarter pipe, utilizing this entire course.
Ollie up and over, sets himself back up for the sub box in the middle.
He mixes his tricks up very nicely. He'll do a kick flip, and then he'll do a regular ramp trick like a tail slide. And here he comes back with another kick flip.
Great.
Doug, so far, a seamless run by Kane Gale. Oh, right.
Just as you mentioned it, here he goes. A problem, unfortunately.
That's okay, though, because he's had a pretty solid run. He's done a lot of difficult tricks. If he can end it with something big, I think the judges will be impressed. Yeah, that's impressive.
Big kickflip off the ramp and then down the starting ramp.
Doug, the judges must be impressed with Kane's ability to do kickflips. This second kickflip, he gets a lot of air with a lot of speed coming down, controlling that board with his front foot.
Good run, but Paul, it was probably that fall in the middle that cost him. Kane Gale, 82.0. That's good enough for 5th position right now. Pat Janita continues to be our leader. And if the street competition is what floats your boat, don't worry. There's more to come next. It's World Cup skateboarding at Disney's Wide World of Sports. Chanita the leader, Brian Patch in 2nd position, and he's enjoyed a lot of success and still gets a lot of support from Mom and Dad.
I've been all for it from day one, and he started out BMX bike racing, and he got into skateboarding many years ago, and just stayed with it, and it seems to be panning out pretty good for him.
You'd understand that dads know the rigors of this kind of sport, but when it comes to moms, they look at it a little bit differently.
Yeah, he may get hurt, and if he doesn't do well, then I feel sorry for him, you know, and I feel it. I just close my eyes and let him go.
One of the top riders in the business, Brian Patch, second opportunity.
And he starts off a little bit differently than he did his last run, boning out that nose on that front side.
Mom and Dad love it. Being one of the top riders, get a lot of recognition, but that's something he's not real comfortable with.
I can't really go into self-promotion because that's not really my gig, but yeah, people recognize me. It's kind of weird to get recognized for something I've always done for the last 12 years. I think I've been skating, and you know, only 2 or 3 of them professionally, but it's odd to get recognized for sure.
That's a lot of years of getting ready for a pro career.
The first thing the judges are recognizing about this run, Doug, is that Brian Patch has not fallen. And that's one key thing. Even though that you pause every now and then, it's okay. If you fall, though, points come falling off your score.
Coming off the start area, right down the rail. Oh!
Lots of speed.
Almost held it.
Brian impressing the judges with a little extra here on that nose bone, boning out the front part of the board, and then here the board slide with a lot of speed. He makes it look easy, and his parents absolutely love it.
Brian Patch was in second spot. He stays there for right now, 83.67. This is the current leader, Pat Shanita, 86.33 the score, but does the young gun have what it takes to put together 2 good runs?
An outstanding start to both runs with that kickflip over the rail.
The ollie up to the pyramid, and this is the same 180 we saw in run number 1, so creativity is going to kind of work against him now because we're seeing a lot of the same things.
Doug, that's a difficult decision that the judges will have to make. Do you keep 2 outstanding runs and do them exactly the same, or do you change it up a little bit and take that chance of falling? So far, Pat's run has been pretty similar to the first run.
This is the second of 2 60-second runs on the street course.
And Pat really did not get up on that nose slide at all. Almost like something is hurting.
It looks a little bit like he might have been limping on that left ankle, possibly. Getting back to the top, going to try again. Shanita just doesn't look like he calls it off.
Pat uses the rail on 2 separate tricks. Here, a front side air over the rail. And then here he tries an ollie up to the nose of the board, and that's where he kind of gives up. I'm not sure if he's got cramps or an injured ankle, but definitely that hurt him there.
Sitting down very gingerly, Shanita, even after that run, continues to lead. He's tending to both legs right around the quadriceps. We'll let him work out his problems on the way. The street finale, McDonald needs a lot, fighting for an invite to the X's. Broche and Kane Gale makes a run for the top, and a little later on, the riders will take to the vert. Just a few more riders to go in the street finals, round 2 competition. Andy McDonald, one of those guys who happens to have been at the X Games since the inception. Pat Shanita, the current leader, still working on that leg problem. McDonald, second run.
Doug, I talked to Pat Shanita in the break, and he says he has leg cramps.
Big air for the guy here, though, that loves the freedom and the versatility that skateboarding offers.
And in skateboarding, there's no one there to tell you, you know, if you do a skill, a trick, and it feels right to you, then more power to you. You do it the way you want to do it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And I think that's what attracts a lot of skateboarders to skateboarding, is that you can just express yourself in however you want. There's no right or wrong.
Andy McDonald, you'll see him coming up later in the vert competition. That's really where he shines.
Andy McDonald is a true athlete, structured from head to toe. This guy can do any sport that he wants to. Chooses skateboarding because of the freedom of it, like he said.
McDonald, 6th place on the street course at the 96 X Games, and he's actually only one of 2 guys at this summer's X Games in San Diego who will compete in both the vert and the street.
The other guy is Tony Hawk. Look at that big air. Comes out from underneath him, but Doug, what a great run for Andy McDonald. A slow surface here in Orlando, but he took the best of it. And watch this big transfer, the kickflip from one wedge to the other, but he falls, lots of speed. Watch the back end of his board as it slides out.
Good to see the smile at the end, though. We've had a couple of injuries today. We'd hate to see another one. That second round score, third position with the 84.0. Tim Brosh, the 23-year-old out of San Jose, California. One of a number of riders looking for one of those precious invites to the X Games.
Tim starts off really going for it. I like this guy's attitude. Very popular skateboarder. Nice 50-50 up on the grind. You notice that he grabbed the board with his hand to pull it off. In case you slow down, you want to have something that can pop you off that rail.
And maybe the judges like it for a little style.
I like the speed that he goes from one end of the ramp to the next, and he does the board slide up on the rail. That's a nice move.
Very nice. And look, Paul, he is taking no time in between tricks.
A much better run this time than in his first run. Obviously, Doug, he feels more comfortable now.
Midway through the 60-second run, this is second round competition. Over the pyramid, nice kick.
Lots of power to his run. A nice blunt to a 50-50 up on the rail, and that rail is kinked, so that's hard to do.
I venture to say this is one rider who's taken advantage of every second on the clock today.
Tim trying to finish it with a bang of 50-50 up on the rail. Does not pull it off, but a very good run otherwise. I like this trick. A blunt to a 50-50 grind. His trucks grind along that metal rod up there.
Unfortunately, Paul, not good enough for an X Games invite. He is currently in 5th position and will move no higher. Kane Gale already has an invite. He's looking to win this thing. And here's your current leader, Pat Chinita. We get back to competition. A couple of more skaters. Round 2, the last opportunity. This is Kane Gale.
Doug, Kane has to come out on fire, and he cannot fall. A solid run is expected to win this contest. How about that kickflip?
Great.
An excellent transfer, and that's about a 5-foot gap in between the two ramps.
We talked earlier for Kane Gale, you got the X Games invite, and you come in here and ride conservatively. As you see, he's not doing that.
Just 2.5 days ago, he placed second in the Vancouver contest, and I think that's flowing over to this.
Nice.
Yeah,
there
see,
we go.
It was very slow over the pyramid. Very slow kickflip. Lots of control, and another kickflip to a fakie. This is an outstanding run by Kane Gale. He has not fallen yet.
We saw one of these earlier. Right off the top of the deck.
Holy cow, that's his 5th kickflip of the run, and he never missed a kickflip.
Time's running out for the 60-second run, but a terrific performance and a final grind for Kane Gale. And a big congratulations from Andy McDonald.
Andy McDonald knows how difficult of a run that was. 5 different kickflips in all. Demonstration of board control right there. The kickflip to fakie on the wedge. How about this, though? The kickflip down the starting ramp. Again, that is extremely steep.
Guess what? Kane Gale puts it together, and he's the winner. Here at Walt Disney's Wide World of Sports. Gale out of nowhere comes to finish first. Chinita bumps to second. Brian Patch finishes third. And our partial list of qualifiers for the X Games shows Chinita and Vaught getting their invites here in Orlando. Paul's with our winner.
I got kind of nervous since I qualified first because usually it almost jinxes you, but you know, like in the finals, I didn't know what to expect, you know, because there's a lot of good guys and any of them could have won at any time, you know. They all skate really good.
This is the last contest before the X Games. You'll be kind of like a favorite to watch.
Hope so, you know. I'll give it my best, and I'll be in San Diego, hometown, so, you know, it should be pretty fun.
Good luck to you.
Thanks a lot.
Might be kind of nice sleeping in your own bed in your own hometown. Come San Diego. On the way, the vert competition. You thought those guys got high off the vert ramp. Wait till you see them up in the Tower of Terror. World Cup skateboarding at Walt Disney World in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Riders getting set for the vert finals coming up in just a moment. But when some people think about Walt Disney World, they think of a great place to take the young kids. We know that. With this year's 25th anniversary Castle Cake and longtime favorite rides like Dumbo's Magic Ears taking you on a magical flight, there are also thrilling roller coaster attractions like Splash Mountain. But for the skateboarders at the X Trials, where pushing the limits is the goal for all, we brought them to the ultimate in terror. A free-falling elevator inside a high-rise haunted hotel. Innocently enough, the unsuspecting guests enter the Hollywood Tower Hotel, where a family of ghosts still roam the halls each day looking to spark horror. On this day, their next victims are spotted entering the old rickety elevator.
You are about to discover what lies beyond the fifth dimension, beyond the deepest, darkest corner of the imagination, in the Tower of Terror.
12 stories high, smiles, anticipation, and then the elevator drops 12 floors, and they love it. This time, the guests were lucky. The ghosts were camera shy and spared the skateboarders their lives, but not without a good dose of terror, Disney style. The terror turns to the vert ramp, though. Final round action. The precursor event for the '97 X Games. Andy McDonald, #1 1 year ago. And #1 at the X Trials in Providence, Rhode Island. Bob Burnquist, the Brazilian, bringing the international flair to vert competition. Second place in Providence, his finish earlier this year. 3 years on the pro circuit, and he can still remember his first ride on a board.
First time I've ever stepped on the skateboard was like going down a little hill and like going on my knees, and like you get the feeling of speed. And then they opened up this park and I started skating the ramp. Like you get the feeling of transition that you can see you can go higher and higher.
Another international name, Rune Glifberg, out of Copenhagen, Denmark, third at the 1995 X Games. He remembers the first time he got involved in skateboarding as well.
My first impression of a skateboard was in a toy shop, I think. But my friend, who's been to America, he came back with a skateboard and we all started riding around on that thing. And then after that, I got a bit of money together and just bought one myself.
Glifberg making around a 15-hour flight to get here to Central Florida to compete in the vert finals. And after a long flight like that, I'm sure he's very glad he made it into the final round of competition.
Rune is a very fluid skateboarder that uses the entire ramp from side to side. Super aggressive dropping in. Big time 540 on this small ramp. You can see he uses it from edge to edge, trying to get every bit of this ramp.
And for a guy like many of the other competitors that practice on a bigger, wider, taller ramp, big adjustments here because they can often overshoot the side.
He practices at Tony Hawk's ramp in Costa Mesa, California, which is 48 feet wide. This ramp is only 32 feet wide. We see him hustling right there, running back up to that wall, getting back on his board. The judges love to see that hustle.
He's jamming. There's a trick.
That trick has never been done in competition. That's a kickflip backside lip slide. A super difficult trick, and he saved the best for last.
High fives from everybody.
Take a look at this. Watch how he kickflips and then he lip slides on the backside. Right there, there's the kickflip and then a lip slide coming down. Very difficult to do.
Glifberg 89.0 to get us underway on the vert ramp. Coming up, Mike Crum, Bob Burnquist, and Andy McDonald. Stick around. Final round action on the vert ramp. Disney's Field House at the Wide World of Sports just outside Orlando. Bob Burnquist set to go.
Bob starting with his left foot in the back of the board. That's starting switch. A switch kickflip to start. Impossible to do, but he pulls it off. He is doing tricks that other guys can't do the normal stance. Notice now that he's skating with his right foot in the back, and that's regular foot.
Burnquist from Rio de Janeiro, nice 540. Now lives and trains in San Francisco, California.
Bob normally in his runs will start to take on that switch stance pretty quickly, and here it is. Now his left foot is in the back. There's a switch 5-0 grind, a disaster. A half cab to a disaster to a front side grind, all switch stance, and then he tries to do an air. It looked like he was trying to do a stalefish front side air switch stance, came down hard.
He hasn't moved the right shoulder, but he's also holding that gut.
Bob Burnquist coming up regular stance here in the backside tail slide. This, though, is where he starts to switch his stance. Right there, there's the half cab switch to a disaster. Here he does a front side grind with that left foot in the back, but this is where it gets tricky right here. Tries a stalefish, comes down hard on his chest, knocks the air out of himself, and it looks as though he hurt his shoulder all at the same time.
Holding a little bit of everything. Burnquist, he'll get tended to. First run, 88.0. Mike Crum, first round, he was flying high.
Mike Crum with a big alley-oop air here. He's known for that, getting really high in the air. That's Mike Crum.
87.67 after one round of competition. Max Dufour also trying to qualify for the X Games, going after one of two invites in the vert competition.
A huge alley-oop frontside tail grab, and then the caballerial tail grab.
For Dufour, 85.67 after one round of competition. There are 10 competitors in all. They'll each get 3 runs on the vert ramp, 45 seconds apiece, scoring based on the 100-point scale, and take the best run. That's how you determine the overall score.
Skateboard vert. Explain. It's a higher battle of skill and imagination. High-scoring routines will incorporate the toughest of air tricks, technical grind, and intricate board spins called varios. Scores are based solely on the judge's overall impression, so look for skaters who are smooth and stylish, and most importantly, able to pull off back-to-back tricks. Keeping control of the board is crucial, for falls drop the score, any valuable time out of the run.
For every rider, it boils down to who does the best tricks, and for Andy McDonald, his best tricks will be at the end of the run.
If I try one of those harder tricks, or even a more difficult trick that I know I should make, if I make that and stick it clean, solid, each wall gives you more confidence and more willing to try a harder trick on the next wall. So the further into your run you go, the more confident you get. And sometimes if you have a really good run, the 45-second buzzer goes and you're like, oh, I wanted to try this, I wanted to try this, I would have made it because you knew you were on a roll kind of thing.
You gotta wonder, Paul, if that run mentality also works for tournaments, because he's coming off the win in Providence.
He is a competitive skateboarder in all sense of the word. He practices for competitions. He loves to compete, and here he's putting together a great run. He started off his run with a big 540. And he just pulled another 540 McTwist right there.
Very nice.
That's called a kickflip indie grab, when you grab the board with your back hand after doing a kickflip.
An effortless run being put together by Andy McDonald.
Oh! Loses it on a trick that he normally makes, but it was towards the end of his run. A solid run for Andy McDonald. There's that 540 McTwist I was talking about. And coming up is the kickflip indie grab. Take a look at where his back hand is. That's why it's called an indie, because you grab with that back hand.
Andy McDonald, 82.67, his first effort. We are in the final round of competition on the vert ramp. After one run, Rune Glifberg continues to be our leader. On the way, though, Mike Frazier, a guy who doesn't know anything but 110%.
I mean, when I skate, I try not to skate half-assed. Like, I try to do stuff as big as I can or as powerful as I can, and sometimes I guess that's not the best thing. Maybe that's why I get hurt a lot.
Florida, Lake Buena Vista, Walt Disney's Wide World of Sports, the brand new sporting complex inside the field house. Round one complete. Glifberg, our leader. McDonald in second position right now, but there are 2 more runs to go. Mike Frazier set to take his second run. His girlfriend Erin Mason of 9 years, always present when he's on the vert ramp.
Mike is a very explosive skater, and he starts with that indie kickflip.
A win today for Frazier would be nice. Be a little birthday present for his girlfriend. Today's her birthday.
Talking about birthdays, the last 9 birthdays for Mike Frazier, he hasn't been home. This year, he'll be spending it at Woodward getting ready for the X Games. Mike had a good run here using the entire ramp. Remember, it's a shorter ramp in width. It's only 32 feet wide.
Not getting as much air as we've seen some of the other competitors. Ooh, in your face.
Stylish invert. There's only 14 feet of flat bottom. That means if you do a trick on that wall, you better be ready in a hurry for the next wall. Otherwise, it will come up and bite you.
Ooh, looks like he was ready, but it did bite him. I think we might suffer a few style points here. Not a whole lot of air. The 360 Indy, and then how about the tuck knee invert right over the back? Here's Paul with Mike.
You get nervous at all when your girlfriend's here? I know you guys were looking up at each other from up top the ramp.
Yeah, not really. I try to think of it just like I'm skating by myself, but it's her birthday, so I'd like to do good maybe.
Frazier scoring a couple of points with the girlfriend. Bob Burnquist, Brazilian, ankle injuries earlier this season. Drops in switch stance, and he loves riding that way, mostly for the big challenge.
Well, I just really, I'd like to just try new stuff, and like the idea of learning how to skate again just intrigues me. And it's the same thing, like you learn how to skate one way, it takes a long time, and then now it seems like there's nothing else to do, but you can do it the other way. I don't know, I just like trying skating the other way. It just intrigues me.
It's almost like if you're right-handed, trying to write a full paragraph with your left hand.
Or try to get in your car and use the gas as the left pedal and the clutch as your right pedal. That's exactly what this guy is doing. Skating switch once again with his left foot in the back. There's a front side hand plant switch stance. Unbelievable for Bob Burnquist. An excellent run from start to finish. He drops in switch and he finishes switch. There he drops in switch there with his left foot in the back. He tried a kickflip, but I don't think it went around. Lucky for him. And he comes right back at the top of the ramp. There's a nose slide of the K grind. A great run for Bob Burnquist.
And he makes a big move midway through the vert competition. Currently first, 93.33. He has bumped out Rune Glifberg, who climbs to the top as second round action continues. Earlier in competition on the vert, Bob Burnquist, a fall that would knock the wind right out of him.
Wouldn't be a contest if Bob Burnquist didn't fall hard.
He came back in the second round, switch stance, nice run. Let's get an update on how he's doing.
Bob, you took a big slam your first run, you knocked the wind out of yourself. You came back on that second run, outstanding run. I don't know if you know it yet, but you're in first place after the second run.
Well, stoked about that.
How did you come back after hurting yourself?
It didn't really hurt, it just knocked the breath out of me. Then I slowly came back, so it doesn't even bother me at all.
Longtime rider, rap music singer Chris Gentry in the second round. He would move up to second place.
With his wife, Rika, looking on, they both own Kingdom Skateboards. This was Chris's best run ever in a contest. He really put all the elements of his riding ability together, and he impressed the judges and also impressed his fellow skateboarders as they knew this was one of his best.
Gentry, as mentioned, currently second after two, 89.0 the score. Final round of competition, few more riders to go. Bob Burnquist has the lead. Rune Glifberg did hold it for a little while, but not now.
Remember, in his first run, he pulled off that kickflip backside lip slide. We'll have to see if he does it in this run, but right out of the gate, Rune is explosive.
For a lot of these riders, the smaller vert ramp here in Orlando has made a pretty big difference.
This ramp has a number of kinks in it, which only the skateboarders can feel. They have to adapt to those kinks and either ride around them or ride right through them, and Rune is putting together an excellent run. Very smooth at half-cab slide.
Coming up on 5 seconds. Oh, and he goes for the kick flip. Didn't make it, but he was just about out of time anyway. Smooth and well-timed 540-degree turn. And then the beautiful kick flip Indy grab.
I know this ramp is totally too small for you guys. You'd like to go big and better. Can you tell us how you have to compensate for this ramp?
Well, the flat's a little bit short, so that kind of messes you up if you do a trick and it's not perfect. So you don't have much time to get your feet back in position. And also, I like to ride ramps that are a lot wider, so you can do lip tricks longer, and it helps your airs too and everything. But you're just gonna have to do with it. It's all right.
Glifberg for the effort moves into second position. Next in round 2, Andy McDonald opening up with the grind. McDonald been competing long enough. He knows what it takes.
Definitely some technical tricks you got to put in there. No holding back at all. You just got to bust out combinations, best you can do, and try and throw in something that you don't normally do in a contest.
Andy, you don't seem to ever be nervous. Can you tell us about that?
I am. Maybe I do a good job of hiding it or something, but I'm nervous.
I've seen Andy skate many times, and I've never noticed that he gets nervous. He's very composed. And this has been a great run for Andy McDonald. 2 big tricks to end this, the gate twist. Andy McDonald with a solid run. He needed that because Bob Burnquist had an outstanding second run. Andy McDonald putting it all together with a really high 540. He has also done a great job of putting tricks back to back. That's what he's done all day long. That one included in his run. And Andy McDonald with a solid run until the end when he could not pull that board underneath his feet on that kickflip.
Andy McDonald currently second. Not enough to take over Bob Burnquist, but he'll have another opportunity. After 2 rounds, Burnquist continues to lead. McDonald, Glifberg are top 3 here at Disney's Wide World of Sports. We'll continue on the verts in just a moment.
The X Trials from Walt Disney World is brought to you by the Pontiac Sunfire. Finally, a real set of wheels you can really afford. By AT&T, it's all within your reach. And by Keystone Light, America's never bitter beer.
World Cup skateboarding, it's the men's vert final. After 2 rounds, Bob Burnquist, the Brazilian, continues to lead, 93.33. His 3rd run to hopefully average it out to a #1 finish.
And he drops in switch stance again, and he pulls off the kickflip. Andy McDonald looking on, knowing that Bob Burnquist has already put together 1 outstanding run. Can he do it again?
If Burnquist puts together a 3rd run, I was just going to say he will be the clear leader through the finish, but that might have been a deciding mistake.
Interesting enough, Doug, he missed on the regular kickflip and he grabbed, and he made the switch kickflip.
60 seconds to begin. He's in the second half of the run now.
His second run was the best run of the contest. It's going to take everything in Andy McDonald to beat that.
Burnquist grabbed the lead midway through round 1. Continues to hang on through round 3.
Doug, it's really amazing to watch Bob Burnquist skate because you never know what this guy is going to do next. He's skating switch once again.
Oh!
Falls at the end, but this guy has had a great day. Remember, he fell early in that first run, got hurt pretty bad, came back in a second run, put together a great run. Bob Burnquist high in the air, the switch dropping in, and coming right back at you. He switched there with his left foot in the back, and then he falls at the very end. But nonetheless, an outstanding day so far for Bob Burnquist.
Still currently the leader, 89.0 though. You saw the score drop by virtue of those 2 falls, the rare falls today for Burnquist. Glifberg next.
Rune only one of 2 skaters that can beat Bob Burnquist.
Just there's no limits. You can always go out and learn something new. Like 10 years from now, it won't even have found its end. You know, there's never an end to it because there's unlimited amount of tricks to do, and there's so many different things. Different places you can go on your skateboard. You can go down a hill, go skate the ramp, go skate a street course, go ride down a dirt hill, you know, whatever.
That's why so many of these riders love the unlimited possibilities of being a skateboarder.
Right now, Rune is ripping this ramp. It's 10 feet, 6 inches high. Nice body jar on the tail, slapping that tail down, falling at the end. Rune has had a very good contest day. Look for this guy to do well at the X Games. Been skating at Tony Hawk's ramp, and here he bust out super big 540 way high in the air off a small ramp. Half cab nose slide coming right back down.
He led the competition at one time, currently third after 3 rounds. He is finished for the day. Andy McDonald, you see what he needs to lead. You know that he wants this.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think the judges are going to give it to Andy McDonald because Bob Burnquist had such an outstanding run. Andy McDonald has to do something switch. He has to do something out of the ordinary in this run to win the contest.
All these back and forth, then we see the 540.
Back-to-back 540 McTwist, but I don't think that will be enough. The kickflip indie grab, he barely holds on. A sketchy run for Andy McDonald.
93 and change. Going to be a tough score to obtain.
Andy McDonald with a solid run, but again, I don't think it will be enough because Bob Burnquist had such an outstanding second run because he skated half of its switch stance, using the entire ramp from edge to edge. Bob Burnquist lighting up the crowd. And one thing that he does better than most skaters is his combinations, getting into one trick and into the next very easily.
McDonald falls just short of the mark. He'll finish second. That means Bob Burnquist is the winner as he brings his style and versatility here to Orlando.
Bob, the last 2 competitions you placed second in. This competition, you come out, you win it. Undoubtedly, the judges gave it to you because you skated switch. I know we talked to you about that, but your thoughts? I mean, it's hard to beat you when you're on switch stance.
Well, I'm glad I got my run together, and I just been skating switch, and I just like skating like that. So
now, as you approach the X Games, Tony Hawk will be there, Annie Mac will be there, everybody will be there. Your thoughts about going into the X Games? Any expectations at all?
Yeah, I wish to have a lot of fun with everyone there.
Looking ahead to San Diego and the X Games, some of the qualifiers on the vert ramp. Competitors you'll see come summertime, and Jake Brown and Max DeFore getting in the last 2 spots here in Orlando.
2 international stars, Jake Brown from Australia, a very compact skater. He has what it takes. He could surprise some people. Max DeFore from Canada, this guy goes big, living large on the vert ramp.
In the street competition, Pat Shanita had a respectable day and grabbed one of 2 spots available for the X, as well as Chad Vaught. Big air was the difference for him today. For everyone, the focus now turns to the 97 X Games in San Diego. For Paul Higgins, I'm Doug Dunbar saying so long from Walt Disney World in Lake Buena Vista, Florida.